Welcome back, and thanks for staying with State of Texas in Depth. Joining us now on our political roundtable, Morgan Smith from the Texas Tribune and Bob Garrett from the Dallas Morning News. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
So let's dive right into Jerry Patterson. We had him on the show today, and I just wonder, what do you think his realistic chances of making it through the primary are, Bob?
Well, he's mighty short on money, and if he makes it into the runoff, you're going to have to attribute it to, like, the libertarian right saves him, and that'll be a story most of us have missed, that's a wave.
Yeah, the runoff, it sounds like a lot of people think that Dewhurst will make it into the runoff. Do you think that Patterson could actually be a formidable opponent for him?
Well, I think that depends on how much he's been able to get his face in front of voters and connect with them in a way that is going to give him the kind of momentum that ad buys and, you know, being able to put up a bunch of yard signs and or whatever, what have you, to increase your name ID. Whether his just kind of hard work and effort at these candidate forums is going to show up and change people's minds and have them cast their ballot for him.
We talked about the gay marriage debate that's going on this past week here in Texas. You know, one of his opponents right now, Todd Staples, was the one who sponsored the legislation when he was in the Senate about marriage in Texas. How do you think that that plays into something? Because Staples has that to campaign on right now, very timely.
It's timely. He also plays on border security, but I think right now the thing that's going on in this race is anybody but Patrick voters, and that is those people that are dissatisfied with Dewhurst but don't want to go all the way to Patrick, and for whatever reason. The problem is, you know, Staples and Patterson are sharing that space. Is it a big enough space to propel one of them into the runoff? Or has Patrick played his cards well enough to get his vote out, particularly in Houston? Smartly,
everyone seems to be beating up on Dewhurst. And, I mean, he's had quite a year, from the abortion filibuster to everything with the police that happened up north. You know, how do you think that that is working out for his campaign? He still seems pretty strong.
Yeah, I think that, you know, contrary to a lot of expectations at the start of the primary, or at the start when campaigning kind of began in earnest, you know, people, I think, would have expected to see a little bit more traction for a candidate like Staples or even Patrick. I mean, I think a lot still does remain to be seen because, you know, right now is the time when primary voters are actually starting to pay hard attention to these candidates. But I think that Dewhurst is still very much in an advantageous position in terms of name ID, in terms of the personal financial resources that he can put into his campaign. So he is, you know, despite the fact that he's been beaten up on a lot by his opponents, I think he's still sitting in the catbird seat, so to speak, going into this election.
Last question, Bob. If Greg Abbott becomes governor, and we do have a Republican lieutenant governor, which one of these four men could work the best with Abbott?
Huh. I'd say that if Abbott were here and we could put sodium pentothal or truth serum in him, he would probably, I'm guessing, pick that he would like to have Staples or even Dewhurst. I think the other two don't really match Abbott's style.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us. I appreciate it. And don't forget, March 4th, Texans will head to the polls for the primaries. We'll have complete coverage right here on KXAN News and online at KXAN.com. Thanks for watching State of Texas in Depth. Join us every Sunday morning at 8:30. NBC's Meet the Press is coming up just a few minutes here on KXAN.